President-in-waiting Donald Trump and his wife, Melania, left Blair House to kick off Inauguration Day festivities Friday morning and took a motorcade for the short drive to a service at St. John's Episcopal Church. The incoming First Lady stepped out from Blair House, the government guest house across from the White House, in a powder blue Ralph Lauren suit that evoked memories of Jacqueline Kennedy's iconic style. Incoming White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, Senior Advisor, and former campaign manager Kellyanne Conway and communications aide Hope Hicks also joined the Trumps. Conspicuously absent, though, was the Trumps' son, 10-year-old Barron, who also wasn't with his family during an inauguration concert Thursday night, CNN reported. After the church service, the Trumps were scheduled to head to the White House to be greeted by outgoing President Obama. The Trumps and the Obamas were traveling together in the presidential limousine for the short trip to the Capitol for the noon swearing-in ceremony. Trump and Vice President Mike Pence will later bid adieu to the Obamas, who will fly off aboard Executive One. All of the living U.S. presidents are scheduled to attend the swearing-in ceremony, except for 92-year-old George H.W. Bush, who was hospitalized this week with pneumonia. His wife, Barbara, was also admitted to the hospital after falling ill. Trump tweeted his well wishes to the Bushes, saying he was looking forward to a speedy recovery. Hillary Clinton, Trump's vanquished election rival, also planned to join dignitaries on Capitol Hill. While Trump revels in a celebratory lunch and parade up Pennsylvania Avenue passing his newly opened Washington hotel, workers at the White House will continue the frantic process of moving out the Obamas and preparing the residence for its new occupants. Moving trucks were on standby Friday morning at the White House. Obama, who will continue to live in Washington, was leaving with his family after the inauguration for a vacation in Palm Springs, California. He planned to address a farewell gathering of staff at Joint Base Andrews before boarding his last flight on the military aircraft that ferries presidents on their travels. Trump's son Don Jr. told MSNBC's Morning Joe that as the various festivities got underway, the magnitude of it all was at last sinking in. He pronounced his father ready to take office. "We're going to unify our country," Donald Trump said at the close of a 2-hour concert Thursday night featuring country star Toby Keith, Soul's Sam Moore and the Piano Guys. Singer Jennifer Holliday was absent, having backed out after an outcry from Trump critics. Meanwhile, Americans eager to see Trump take the oath of office as the nation's 45th president started to wend their way through downtown Washington, D.C., and onto the National Mall before dawn. "It all begins today. I will see you at 11 a.m. for the swearing-in. The movement continues, the work begins," Trump tweeted at 7:31 a.m. Dump trucks and police cars blocked vehicle access for blocks around the mall, as National Guard members and D.C. police stood by at street corners across the city. But there was plenty of room on sidewalks for those holding engraved tickets for a seat at the inauguration, as well as those without, who planned to watch from spots between the Capitol and the Washington Monument. The Red Gate ticket entrance opened to cheers from those braving the cold and waiting in line in the city's East End neighborhood. Some began a chant of USA. Ebullient supporters picked up "Make America Great Again" caps and other Trump paraphernalia from street hawkers hours after the president-elect attended pre-inaugural festivities and later tweeted, "Thank you for a wonderful evening in Washington, D.C. I'm here for history," said Kevin Pekulski, a 24-year-old construction worker who drove from Philadelphia. "This is the first president that I voted for that won." His big hope: Trump builds that promised wall on the US-Mexican border. "Keep the illegals out," he declared. Chris Lehman, 55, a maintenance supervisor from Belmar, New Jersey, said, "I'm so excited, I'm like, on top of the world." Eleanor Haven, 83, of Alexander City, Alabama, was attending the festivities with her son, Scott Haven. The pair said they had never been to a political event before attending a Trump thank you tour rally in Alabama after the election and were looking forward to Friday's celebration. "We're excited for changes in the country," Scott Haven said. Protesters also were out early, some trying to block inaugural visitors from passing through security checkpoints, some wearing orange jumpsuits with black hoods over their faces. Police and riot gear were out in force. Eleanor Goldfield, who helped organize the Disrupt J20 protest, said demonstrators hope to show they will not be silent throughout Trump's presidency. She called Trump supporters misguided, misinformed, or just plain dangerous. On the eve of the inauguration, protesters and Trump supporters clashed outside a pro-Trump event, with police using chemical spray to try to control demonstrators outside the deplorable. The name was a play on a campaign remark by Hillary Clinton, who once referred to some of Trump's supporters as a basket of deplorables. Aides said Trump had been personally invested in crafting his inaugural address, a relatively brief, 20-minute ode that is expected to center on his vision for what it means to be an American. Spokesman Sean Spicer said the address would be less of an agenda and more of a philosophical document. Trump has pledged to upend Obama's major domestic and national security policies, including repealing his signature health care law and building a wall along the US-Mexican border. But he's offered few details of how he plans to accomplish his agenda, often sending contradictory signals. The 3 days of inaugural festivities kicked off Thursday, when Trump left his Trump-branded jet in New York City and flew to Washington in a government plane, saluting an Air Force officer as he descended the steps with Melania. He and Pence solemnly laid a wreath at Arlington National Cemetery before joining supporters for an evening concert at the Lincoln Memorial. With rain a possibility, the National Park Service announced that it was easing its no umbrella policy for Friday, allowing collapsible umbrellas along the parade route and on the National Mall. Trump joked about the chance of a downpour. "That's okay," Trump told campaign donors at an event Thursday night, "because people will realize it's my real hair. Might be a mess, but they're going to see that it's my real hair."